All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about Wonder Woman. If you know anything about me, I start shallow and then I go deep, very deep. So we're about to go real deep today into Wonder Woman. But first, let's start off with, as you can see here, this is what we call the classical Wonder Woman figure almost. Basically, if you look at this figure and you look at this figure here, which is Lynda Carter's version of Wonder Woman, they are almost identical. You look and you will see the eagle symbol on her chest here. Eagle symbol. We'll get into that in some degree. Look at the beautiful bracelets. If you look at them, they have a little star on them and they look silver to gold. It looks kind of silver goldish. And if you look at her get up, her blue kind of shorts, they have stars on them, right? And if you look at this Wonder Woman, that's basically the pattern of the Lynda Carter version, which is almost the derivation of the original Wonder Woman, except she has shorter shorts here. Okay, instead of having a little longer track meek shorts that almost look like a skirt, or even tights that wrap around the body, it's kind of higher up. It looks like almost like a underwear, right? Well, all of them look like underwear, but I mean it's like a bikini, or like female underwear, panties, right? So, but this is pretty much the cutout of Lynda Carter. Okay, down to the earrings. She has the red earrings. Okay, now what I want to talk about here is how much different iterations of Wonder Woman have things in common with each other. Okay, so in this case, when you look, there's a bullet coming and striking this cup link, aka bracelet, aka gauntlet, that Wonder Woman has, and you see sparks come off, and you see the big glowing kind of shining thing like the sun. It's beautiful, eh? And one of the things about Wonder Woman was her use of the gauntlets. She used her gauntlets to deflect bullets. Now, some people ask me, well, Wonder Woman's very strong, she's very powerful, why does she need to deflect bullets? Well, unlike Superman, who comes from Krypton, his skin is exceedingly tough, but Wonder Woman, she's actually vulnerable to very sharp objects. Okay, if you were listening to the Wonder Woman trailer, Rise of the Warrior, you would hear little Diana say, "I will be careful, mother. No sharp objects." Okay, and that's because Wonder Woman, that's why she has her shield, that's why she has her bracelets, is to deflect these sharp objects. And that's been in Wonder Woman for a long time. As you can see here, Wonder Woman deflecting those bullets. She's a really well-trained warrior, so she doesn't get hit with bullets. Now, it's not that bullets will necessarily kill her or fatally wound her, no, because she has incredible powers of healing. But it is that instead of having to delay or be slowed down in a war or in a battle by bullets, she's able, with immense skill and timing, to actually capture their trajectory and deflect them, as you can see here. And this iteration of Wonder Woman is seen throughout. As you can see here, even in the movie, Gal Gadot is deflecting bullets. Of course, the imagery created here is so beautiful because they've actually slowed it down. So you can see the bullet coming in. She deflects it off. She blocks it. And this is very much a martial arts move. That's a movement that is done in martial arts, where she very simply deflects it. She reminds me of Neo in The Matrix, how he was just effortlessly doing that. It's like her mind and her hand are in sync, and she just tracks the bullet and blocks it. And she's seeing it. You can see her eyes following the bullet as she just blocks it. It's just amazing. Now, there are other things that Wonder Woman is very good at doing, but one of the things that are characteristic of Wonder Woman that came from Lynda Carter's version of Wonder Woman was the spinning and transformation. You won't be seeing that in the Wonder Woman movie, absolutely not. But it was magical, it was very charming, and actually was captured also in some of the animated series of Wonder Woman. Here she is spinning, and she's transformed. It's really pretty cool. There's a certain charm to this from the 70s. Even Christopher Reeve's version of Superman had a certain charm to it, a certain magic to it. So I understand that some people get entranced with that, and it's still one of the things that people like to see in Wonder Woman. It's kind of feminine, how she spins like a ballet dancer, and transforms, and I think people like that. But you won't be seeing that, I don't think, in this version of Wonder Woman. She's more rooted in realism. The Muppet Show. I don't know if you guys know this, because I'm up for a different era. The Muppet Show had people like Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy. Well, for those of you who grew up on Sesame Street, The Muppet Show with Jim Henson when he was alive, his son is now alive. Miss Piggy was a pig in The Muppet Show, and here she idolizes Wonder Woman by actually transforming in the show, which is pretty funny because Miss Piggy is such a piggish sort of person. Well, she's Miss Piggy, so but anyway, I just thought it was funny. Wonder Woman, of course, can fight. That is a given. Here she is. I think she's punching Mongol here. I don't know if you guys know who Mongol is, but you can always look him up. Mongol. It's really awesome. And she can really, really fight. And in the movie as well, she will be fighting. And she will be fighting a lot. And that's just what she's trained. She was trained from since a child to fight. And it wasn't her mother's decree that she would be a fighter, but she wanted to. And she was always enthusiastic about that. But as her mother said in the trailer, a hero is not defined by someone who can fight. That's not what makes a hero. So in this quest of Wonder Woman and in her journey, you hear her say at the beginning, I used to want to be a hero. So somewhere along the line, she got discouraged. And of course, being a hero was not what she imagined it to be, I guess. And so she was disappointed in all of the things that happened. So I'm assuming this movie ends sort of tragically and she gets discouraged at the end of Wonder Woman, the movie. And the thing about it is, will Patty Jenkins be able to pull that off and let us feel that despair and also feel for Wonder Woman at the end of the movie? Now this here is Wonder Woman from Super Friends. Super Friends started in 1973 before, actually, Linda Carter's version of Wonder Woman. And Linda Carter's version of Wonder Woman was a reimagining of Super Friends Wonder Woman. What they had after Super Friends Wonder Woman was a Wonder Woman movie where it was a totally different costume to this particular costume you're seeing here. And it was also one in which she was depowered. In this version here, she has the magic lasso. And the whole point behind me showing this is to show you the magic lasso. But this came first. And as you notice, there's a couple things that are different to the Linda Carter version. It has a different motif, a much more simpler motif. It wasn't an actual motif of a bird. And of course, they shorten up how many stars were on her. Okay, but essentially, this is the same motif as Linda Carter's version. So Linda Carter pretty much her version patterned itself after the Super Friends version. Even her actions and everything were after the Super Friends version. This is an earlier version of Wonder Woman that was on ABC, I believe. You can see she has, though, the actual eagle motif on her, or hawk motif. All of these are Egyptian motifs, actually, that are actually in Wonder Woman. And the name Diana, which is Greek, is actually from an Egyptian motif as well. Here is Wonder Woman in a later phase. She again has the design like Linda Carter and also the design like Super Friends Wonder Woman, but she's just much more badass. You can see the skill in how she uses the lasso and combines it with another lasso. Here she's fighting some of the oh my God, Granny Goodness and Company. I'm trying to remember what their name is. You guys just leave the name in the comment section below because I forgot the name of them. Sometimes I just blank out just like that. Here is Wonder Woman in the Injustice, I believe. If this is not Injustice, this is DC video games Wonder Woman. Again, you see the skill that she has in fighting. She's fighting Doomsday here using the lasso. And this is all about using the lasso, by the way. I guess you guys know that by now because you've seen all the clips. To me, this is the best action performance, animated or otherwise, of Wonder Woman I've ever seen. in using the lasso. It's just so fantastic. It's not funny. Okay, the skill involved and the way how they got the special effects to make that happen. It's just ridiculous what she's doing there. So I just love it. I love everything about it. She feels like Wonder Woman. She moves like Wonder Woman. I'm loving everything here. So as you can see, the earlier versions of Wonder Woman, the Super Friends Wonder Woman, the Linda Carter Wonder Woman, they didn't move like these. But the later versions, the later animated versions and the later versions in video games really had more of a warrior dynamic to them and sort of felt more grounded and real. Here is Linda Carter just she's supposed to be just using sheer brawn and just punching a guy, and he flies through the air into the sea. I don't know what he did her. My guess is he probably went to try and talk to her inappropriately or something inappropriately, but he got punched all the way into the sea. So that's brawn, not necessarily skill. Again, it's revolutionary for the time. This is just pure skill, and this is a whole other level of opponent. So this is one of the major bad guys. He's super strong, and Wonder Woman is giving him a flying, rotating taekwondo kick. You know, I mean, this is just so crazy to look at. And while she's kicking, she blocks his sword and breaks it into a million pieces. You gotta love that. Alright. More skill from Wonder Woman. She's sliding on the floor on her shield. She comes through to kick, double kick the soldier who's backing off. It's just crazy. I tell you, the action in this movie is going to be off the charts. That's for sure. There'll be a lot of firsts in what is done. Here is, again, the classical Wonder Woman. This is the CBS version, Linda Carter version. This is more sexualized Wonder Woman. Her shorts were shorter, her top was shorter, so her breasts could show. But still, she was seen here again as super strong. She stops a tank from advancing on her. It's crazy. Watch it again. The tank is coming at her. She puts her hands down and she stops it in its tracks from moving at her. Okay? It's really awesome. Again, you see that Wonder Woman borrows from this, and you see Wonder Woman pick up a tank in World War I and throw it. It's crazy. This is showing her strength, okay? So we showed you strength with Linda Carter's Wonder Woman, and now you see the strength of this Wonder Woman. Clearly stronger than Linda Carter's Wonder Woman. More agile and everything. Better fighter, and so on. But the point anyway is they borrow from the Wonder Woman formula that was from before. These are all things of Wonder Woman. She's very strong. She's a very skilled fighter. She, as you can see, is very smart. Here she is again, just tactically taking down two soldiers. Now what you guys may not have noticed, and I didn't notice actually, and so that's why this video is here, because you guys are always going to learn something with my videos, is that she's using two swords. There's a sword in her hand and there's a sword on her back. The sword on her back is the sword that she took from Themyscira, from the place where the gods provide these different swords. Now people call the sword on her back a god killer sword, but actually I believe the name of the sword is the sword of Athena. And in one of my videos I told you that Athena was one of the children of Zeus and Hera. You know, great Hera that Wonder Woman and all the other Amazons call upon. Hera was the wife of Zeus. And Athena was a very wise, tactical, strategic god that officiated over war as well and other matters. Okay? Now, there are other gods like Hades and so on. But when we talk about Ares, Ares is the god of war, but he's not the god of necessarily tactical war. He feeds off of murder and hate and violence and rage and that kind of stuff. So the sword that Diana has on her back right now is the sword of Athena. We are pretty sure about that because she got that from inside of the temple where they have all the artifacts that the gods gave from Themyscira. The sword in her hand, however, seems to be the sword that I saw her using in BVS. This time she's using the sword as a dagger. Look how she holds it in her hand, almost like a samurai. I don't know, but she's gifted in all kinds of styles of fighting, I'm assuming. So there she uses this shield, which also came from the gifts of the gods, but I wouldn't be surprised if she has another shield. So she may have two shields. And depending on the situation, she will use them. Now, there's so much I want to say, but I will try to be very brief. In this little picture here, you see that the soldiers of World War I, they hovered between the modern age and the old age. See, in World War I, we had the transition from horses and swords and spears to guns and cars and planes, okay? So that when you look at these guns, in World War I, the edge of the guns had a knife edge, a very sharp edge. They had a bayonet. They were called bayonet guns. Now, they're not, these war guns were not as old as, say, the old bayonet guns of civil wars of the 1800s. They were a little bit more advanced, because we're talking about the early 1900s here. So that when you look at the soldiers, they actually are really perfectly dressed for the time. This is what makes this movie a pseudo-realistic historic lesson. It's actually based on real events and what real soldiers actually wore. Now the beauty of this is you can see the soldier coming in to actually strike at Wonder Woman, and the other soldier actually strikes at her, but he gets hit while he's striking. But both were trying to impale her, trying to stab her. But she's just such a good soldier. She's so good at fighting that she takes them both out with a shield. It's crazy. The other sick thing about this is you're looking at a contrast of eras. You're looking at the ancient Grecian era here, because this is an ancient Grecian soldier in Wonder Woman. Spectacular soldier who could take on multiple people. It reminds me of the biblical wars that I heard about with David and all his mighty men. Some men could draw the bow and they never missed. Some men, they could fight tactically and take out thousands of people. This is the kind of action that you're looking at with the ancients. Some people think that the ancients would be beaten down by men with guns and semi-automatic weapons. Well, Wonder Woman makes a case that it wouldn't happen if these people had some sort of extra spiritual power behind them. Like Wonder Woman, she has extra spiritual power behind her. She is vested with power from the gods. In fact, she herself is a god. So think of gods among men. Think of Superman versus other people. Now, while Wonder Woman has vulnerabilities like Hercules, she can be killed. It is still amazing that you just look at the difference, the contrast in just styles and just power, and just the savagery and the art, the beauty of it. I just want to focus on that for a minute there with you guys. Take you there, It's beautiful. So this Wonder Woman is bringing to the stage is something completely different, okay, to what other Wonder Womans have brought before. We've seen the animated series of Wonder Woman's heck of a crazy thing, very bloody, very gory, very graphic, okay? And I think this Wonder Woman is going to be no different. She's going to be a bit hardcore, but they're going to make it finessed. I think Patty Jenkins is going to finesse it and bring these charming elements that the Wonder Woman TV series had to the table. But I think she's going to be a badass. So we just covered a lot with Wonder Woman in terms of the different Wonder Woman and what they all brought to the table that were very similar to one another. You saw the various iterations with different tools that Wonder Woman uses. We saw some characteristics of Wonder Woman. We talked a little bit about some of the themes of her. Very importantly, this used to be an actual eagle, but you can see this is an eagle still. That's the eagle's head right there. Alright, and you can see the wings of the eagle there. And it kind of branches off and you see the 2 feet here. Now this eagle is really an icon from Egyptian lore and Grecian lore. And actually it wasn't an eagle, it was actually a hawk. Alright, first I want to show you this beautiful picture of Wonder Woman here. I'm going to zoom out of it. And this came out of the Chinese premiere. This poster came up. Now, if you know anything about Asian people are deep, okay? If you read any manga ever in your life, you'll realize, they go into a lot of themes. Comic books are deep, but manga is on another level. And so when this poster was made, there's a lot of stuff going on in that poster, okay? Which Chinese people will absolutely devour and actually enjoy, because when a story has a lot of layers, it makes the story much better. Of course, you have to convey those layers in a very concise, clear way so that people can understand, but nonetheless, Chinese like subtlety. So in this case, there's a lot going on here. Let me start off with what's really actually going on here, if I can, okay? There are two worlds you're looking at. You're looking at the world of paradise, which is this, Themyscira, and you're also looking at man's world. Wonder Woman is the bridge between two worlds. Superman was the bridge between Kryptonians and humans. Wonder Woman is the bridge between the world of the gods and the world of men. Themyscira is the world of the gods. The world is the world of men. Now, what you will notice is two things you will notice. The first thing you will notice is the sky. You will notice the difference in colors. One color here, red hot. One color here, cool, sort of almost cold. Paradise, as you notice, there's a storm brewing in paradise because Wonder Woman has crossed over from this world into this world to help this world because she feels obligated to help it. You will notice that this world is ridden by war, flames, and fire, and it's very red. It's red hot. And there's a reason it's red hot. It's because there's war going on. It's in turmoil. The world is in chaos. You will see that Steve Trevor is part of this, as well as some of his compatriots who you see on horses behind him there. On this side, you will notice that the Themyscirans, the Amazons, which are all women, are soldiers and they are marching. There's an army led by Queen Hippolyta and Antiope, her sister. But notice that while you see the paradise in the background there, the sky is dark and brewing, which means because Diana has crossed over into this world here, on her right here, or left, sorry, she has caused this world here to be also participating in some of the turmoil. Now there's another motif in here, and it has to do with a phoenix. If you look here, this is a phoenix, aka a hawk. The phoenix is actually hawk. It's an Egyptian mythical hawk that has arisen back out of the flames. In Christianity, we call the hawk the dove or the Holy Spirit. It's a spirit. It's the spirit of freedom. And in American culture, it's called the bald eagle. The eagle is seen as a free spirit, someone who's liberated. And so Wonder Woman really captures this free spirit. Now, it's very important to understand that the eagle motif is the same as this motif here. See this motif here? Look at it. It's a W, right? And it's also the eagle motif. Okay? And I told you this is a very, very powerful symbol. It's one of the most, it's actually the most powerful symbol in the world. And I think I'm going to break it down for you guys now. But before I do, I want you to understand something else. There is a star at the top of this motif. Some call it the Star of David. Some of them call it Jesus Christ. Some of them call it Esther. Some of them call it Ashtar. It does not matter. The important thing is the head of this motif. The head of this motif. And if you look, this looks like an eagle, doesn't it? With its wings spread and it's rising out of the ground. It's actually spreading its wings and it's flying upwards, right? Now, the important thing is to understand the eagle and the star are one. Okay? Now, I'm going to go into a lot of stuff here because I'm going to go pretty deep with you guys. So bear with me, okay? This comic book Wonder Woman has more to it than meets the eye, okay? It is actually talking about attributes and qualities, okay? So, if I'm going to go super deep, bear with me. So here we have Linda Carter again posing the symbol. Notice that she uses both fists this time with the cufflinks as stars. So we have 3 stars. It's a triangle. Okay? Let's bear that in mind. Okay? This motif means something. Okay? What is Wonder Woman all about? Do people remember? Now look at Gal Gadot here. Gal Gadot, again, the cross-armed motif. Look how calm she is. Look how her face is. Again, the fists create in the motif. This is a very powerful motif, like I said before. All right. Now, if you look at this motif, it looks like a figure 8. You see it? It's a continuous motif. All right. It also looks, like I said before, like the eagle symbol, and I will show you the eagle symbol once again. Hold on a second. There's the eagle symbol there, and can you see the cross arms? The arms are crossing here. They're crossing here. Okay. And then the fists are out this way. Let me see if I can show you again. So if you look, this is your fist here. This is your fist here. The arms cross. Let me show you. There you go. Okay. So if you look here, watch it carefully. All right. There, the arms cross right there. So you have a fist here. You have a fist there. The arms cross right here. Okay, it's almost like an eagle. It's almost like an eagle sitting down. I don't know if you can see it, but more importantly, the way how Gal has done it here, it looks like a continuous figure 8. In fact, if I were to say a little bit more, it looks something like this. The way how Gal has done it. Let me show you again. Can you see it? Can you see the figure 8? All right. Now this figure 8 is known as a symbol. In mathematics, it's known as infinity. Okay. The infinity symbol is a continuous symbol. There is no beginning, there is no end. Like I said, this thing is very powerful. It is known as unbounded in Greek. Okay. Now this symbol is very similar to a snake that has started to eat its tail. And so you get a continuity between the snake. It has no beginning, it has no end. It is infinite. And infinite things, like this symbol here, infinite things have no beginning and they have no end. But why would it be in the figure of an 8 like this? Why would it be this continuous way? Well, let me just tell you a little bit of history of this symbol. If you look at pharaohs, they actually make this symbol as well. Because in Egyptian law, Osiris was someone who had crossed over from life into death, and then from death to life. He was revived, and therefore he continuously moved on. And this symbol actually talks about the crossing over from life to death. It is an infinite symbol, and this is what the Egyptian philosophy is. For those people who know about what we call Orisha, you can go ahead and talk to the Orisha about this symbol. You can go ahead and talk to some other tribes from Africa, Northern Africa. You can go Central, everybody, because this is a symbol of everlasting life. This symbol is similar to the symbol known as the Ankh, which is also a crossing over symbol. As you can see, it loops here, but then it crosses over, and it may go this way or it will go that way and that way. And if you look at the Ankh is very similar to the cross. But funnily enough, the cross literally has the name cross, meaning crossing over from life into death and then from death into life. So there is a crossing over. And so you guys can understand this crossing over. When I showed you the motif of Wonder Woman here, she was crossing over from one world to another. From a world of life where they were eternal beings, where they would live forever, into a life of death. She crossed over from life to death. You understand what I'm saying? Man's world. And man's world crossed over, because she crossed over, into the everlasting life territory, what we call Paradise Island. Now, these are all figures of our existence. Literally, some of us believe there is a paradise. You know, Jesus said to the thief on the cross, "You will be with me in paradise this day." The cross is a symbol for crossing over from this existence of being alive into death, which is called Hades. it's a lot of Greek mythology going on here, but at the same time, it's also partially myth, partially true. You understand? When you die, you are no longer in this existence as we have it, physically and bodily. Your body breaks down, you disappear, seemingly. Now, the point is that transition from life into death is something that Wonder Woman actually did. It's called the baptism of death in Egyptian circles. Osiris did it. He was murdered and he went from life to death, and they tried to mummify him, so that, because Egyptians believe you mummify a guy because he's going to come back to life in some way, shape, or form. The Hindus believe you come back in some other form. You may come back as an animal, you may come back as a philosopher, whatever. So they believe that life is continuous. My personal opinion is not necessarily that life is continuous, but that love, which consists of life, is continuous. But love and life are not exclusive to any one individual. But that's my philosophy. You don't have to worry about what I'm talking about here. This is the most important thing. The motif that we just saw connects with this motif here, which is the eagle, aka the hawk, aka the dove, aka the phoenix. All religions have some version of this. Even atheists actually believe in this, even though it's mythical. Atheists, people who don't believe there is a God, actually believe that there is something called freedom, where you free your mind. You know, when you watch The Matrix, Morpheus says to Neo, free your mind. And pretty much, when you free your mind, you become the Phoenix. In X-Men, the Phoenix comes up as a flame, and she starts to blaze as a fire. And though, you know, in one of the X-Men series, Wolverine kills her, he doesn't really kill her because the Phoenix cannot be killed. And very similarly, this motif, which burns as a fire and also can be sometimes looked at as cold, is love. And basically, the cornerstone of Wonder Woman, she tells you this, Gal Gadot tells you this. You'll hear in the Wonder Woman, old Wonder Woman theme, she talks about, you know, fill the world with love. Love is the infinite symbol. Love is the crossing over from death to life to death to life, and continuously. Life, as we know it, has cycles. There is the birth, there is the maturity, and then there's the death. And then it starts all over again. And this is captured in this symbol here, which is known as the infinite symbol, this symbol here. And the serpent is wisdom of life. And this is the cycle of life, or what we call the circle of life. It's not a complete circle. And if you unwind this serpent, you'll get a circle. When you bend the circle in, okay, you get an overlap. These are called the crossroads of the circle. And every life has a crossroad, and life itself has enormous crossroads. And it only shows you that you have decisions and choices you can make in your life. I'm unpacking it for you guys, because Wonder Woman is much more than meets the eye. So that this symbol is related to what is known as the Ankh. The Ankh, and that's an Egyptian symbol. Okay? And that motif is seen all over the place. It's everywhere. Greeks borrowed it, and everybody borrowed it. Okay? And it is the symbol of life. But the Ankh is only one end of the symbol of life. The continuous symbol of life has to do with a cycle, regeneration. You have birth, then you have maturity, then you have death, then you have life, birth, maturity, death, life, birth, maturity, death, life, birth. You understand? And that's the circle. The cross, again, indicates the crossing over from life to death, and then from death to life, and so on. It has a crossing over. It's like a 4 crossroads. So if you have an intersection here, there's a crossing of one path here with another path. So if I want to, I can go this way. If I want, I can go this way. If I want, I can go this way. Right? If I want, I can go this way, or this way, and so on. I can come from this way, go this way, this way, this way. I can come from here, go this way, I can go this way, or I can go that way. Right? It's an intersection. Again, having to do with choices. Now, Christianity has embraced the cross, but they said, oh, that's a pagan symbol, the Ankh. But in truth and in fact, all of these symbols symbolize something. In this case, this is a continuous loop. So what this says, which is a little bit deeper than the other one, is you can go this way. You can go this way. So you have a multiplicity now of different movements you can make because it loops. Okay? And that's the Ankh. So the Ankh, you got more of a continuous flow. The simplified cross tells you, yes, you're crossing over from one period to another period. There's always life and death in situations. So one door closes, one door opens. This one is telling me there's actually a continuity to it. And then the eternal symbol, this one, which has to do with the cross arms, which is love, which is much more continuous. This one tells you there's a flow to the whole thing. There's a flow to the whole thing. You're still doing all these different options. You still can go this way if you want to and loop back this way. And you can go this way, But there's a flow to it. There's a cycle to it. There's a circle to it. Got it? So that's how powerful the symbol of Wonder Woman is. It's not just a symbol of strength and power, but of wisdom, of courage, of love, of caring, of heart. And that is why Gal Gadot's face looks the way it does. Her face is very relaxed because the symbol she has put forward, and it's a symbol of equality, etc., some of the feminist values, etc. The symbol that she puts forward is as pure a symbol as you get. It is the most powerful symbol, because the most powerful thing in this world, whether you guys believe it or not, is love. Whether you believe love exists or not, it's not really relevant. It doesn't matter. It is the most powerful thing. And this is what Wonder Woman at her essence symbolizes. She fights for love. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You guys have a great one. It's now 2:35 a.m. in the morning, but I knew this message had to be sent because transmitting all positive vibrations in the universe reciprocates and reverberates positive vibrations. You guys have a good one.